Hey, it's T. Aaron back with an update. This will be update number 6 and be the last update from the construction phase, phase 1 of my mid-century ranch home renovation project. And got a heck of a lot done this last week. Closing in on the end of it, and I'm excited. I'll be leaving Sunday and headed out to get my furniture. Should be back within a week, and my target move-in date is Saturday I don't know, what is it, the 12th or something like that? It's somewhere in that range. Anyway, really excited to get moved in and get started to get settled in. So I've got the floors done. Let me take you around and show you what we got done. So you can see here, basically I've got some paper laid down in the major traffic areas. I still have a little bit of painting left to do on the doors that go on this cabinet here. And then, of course, I still have the trim to do. I'll be doing the trim once I get moved in. It's going to be pretty easy to do, but I'm just kind of out of time. And that's just kind of the way it goes. So you see here that I do have some shears up. I saved these shears here, there, and then this one. I know that's horrible light. This camera does not like to have a lot of face light. Let's see if I can get over here to where it will adjust properly. Well, I guess that's as good as it's going to get. But what these are just the shears from the old curtains that were up here. You might remember there was a whole bank of curtains clear around this corner, clear around here. And one of the first things I did was rip them out. They were tired, dirty, filthy, nasty. And in fact, these are still kind of smelly. But they're going to work for now. I've got my blinds ordered, but it looks like it's probably going to be at least 2 more weeks before the blinds show up. I was waiting to get all my final colors together and get some samples in so that I could, determine what was going to look best. And so, it just took some time. But I've got this. This will be fine enough for some privacy until until the blinds come in and I can get them mounted up. You see here, I got this old chandelier out of what used to be the dining room, and what I did was installed one of my very first sponsored products. That light right there, that is a 3000 Kelvin, 12-inch, 1680 lumen ceiling light. And boy, I really like the light that it puts off. It's 3000 Kelvin, so that makes it warm light, and so it looks really good. We've got all the electrical outlets changed. This one here, like a lot of stuff I found, was a total disaster. The box was busted, it wouldn't hold the screws. And so luckily, when I went and picked up all this electrical stuff, I picked up an extra 2-gang remodeler's box because I'm going to put some power over here. Because this area right here is going to be where my desk is going to sit, and this is going to be my YouTube studio. This will be where I do all my videos from now on, at least do all my editing work. It's all going to happen right there in that little alcove. And then I did this accent wall with the idea that it might work as a chroma key or what you might call a green screen. So as we head in here, I still need to, I got to get this cabinet put together, finish it up. I do have the hardware for it. I bought new poles, and then I've got new hinges coming. Have all the doors remounted. I put up an LED light in this room. In this particular case though, this is again one of my sponsored products. But that one is 5000 K, so it tends to be more on the white side. And it had the exact desired effect that I wanted in this room. Without that color of light, this room was awfully gray, but I think if you look at it now, and hopefully the camera will do it justice, it's still gray, but it's blue-gray, and that's really what I wanted to accomplish in here. I've got this closet put back together. I still need to put the door pulls in. These old ones, everything had been painted, and one of my biggest pet peeves is painted stuff, painted hinges. So I took and I cleaned up all the hinges, polished them all up. I got these new handles here. I went over to the Habitat for Humanity Restore, and I picked these up. I picked up a pair of them, this one and the one on the bathroom here. And I got them both for $7.50 total for the both of them. They were $3.75 a piece. They had never been installed, and so I got lucky on that one. Also, when I was over at the Restore, I needed a new doorbell, and they happened to have one in the box all together, marked for $7, but that was like, I think 25% off. And so I think I got it for like, what, that'd be $5.25, something like that. I do have one little problem that I'm fixing right here. I'm not sure what happened there, but there was just a huge amount of dust. It was driving me crazy. And then right here, and this fix is done, but I'll inset what it was. Right there was a miller, or a moth. So somehow, when after I got the house sealed up, there was a moth hiding somewhere. And I think with all the fumes in the house, because it was stinky in here, this is oil-based polyurethane. I find that oil-based is a little bit more durable, at least that's my opinion, but it sure smells like hell. And in fact, it took about an hour to roll these floors with the poly, and there's 3 coats, three? There's 3 coats. There's 2 coats of stain. There are 2 coats of stain, and then 3 coats of polyurethane. And it's a satin finish. I didn't want really glossy floors. I wanted them to, because I find that glossy floors tend to get scuffed up really easy. And they end up kind of, I don't know, scuffed up, muted. But I went with satin, and I hope that it wears a little better and doesn't show the scuff marks and stuff quite so bad. So overall, I think the floors turned out amazing. I'm super happy with them. They were a shit ton of work though, let me tell you. 2 days of running that sander really kicked my butt. It took, I took 2 coats of stain, about 7 hours between both coats. And then I made a big mistake. Well, not a big mistake, but I made a mistake in that the night I put the first coat of poly on, it got cool. There's a touch of fall in the air. It got down to 39 degrees that night. Well, I didn't have the heat on in the house, and then once I got the floor done, I couldn't get in here to turn the heat on. And so the house got cool overnight. It took 17 hours for it to dry that first day. When I got the next coat on, after I sanded it and put the next coat on, I learned my lesson. I left the heat on at 72. And actually it worked out a little better because I finished doing the second coat of poly about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, something like that. And so the next night I got up at 4 just to get up and come in here and open up some windows, because of course I had, you know, everything closed up to keep the airflow down, to keep the possibility of dust moving around. And I did go through and I wiped down all of the walls and everything. So I did do a really thorough construction clean where I went through and I wiped down all the surfaces. I wiped down everything with a damp rag. And that way there would be less dust in the area. But I don't know what happened, but this little spot right here, you know, maybe the miller came along and hit the ceiling and kicked a bunch of dust up. I don't know. But it was dusty as hell, so I sanded that out yesterday. And I put 1 coat of poly on it. I'm going to put another one on it today, and hopefully that'll restore that little spot. I have a big, huge room rug that's going to go in here anyway, so I don't think it's going to matter that much. But, you know, I have OCD, and knowing that that was there, it was probably going to bug me. I had some friends come over last Sunday to clean the kitchen. It was disgusting. And they did a pretty decent job, but it's still kind of rough. It's going to be okay. Remember, the kitchen's going to be a gut and rehab. I'm going to totally gut it. Frankly, the dishwasher is a piece of crap. The sink is not installed properly. The fridge has a broken door. The stove and oven seems to work okay. But they came in and it took 2 of them 3 hours, total of 6 hours, to get it to where it was somewhat clean. They cleaned the ceiling, got the grease and oil and nastiness off the ceiling. And in fact, now the house doesn't stink as much anymore. But I got to tell you, there was some times when I was working in here, like when I stripped up the carpet here. You'll remember there's a pet stain right here on the floor. When I got that carpet up, it was rank. Their dog had pissed everywhere. And people always ask me, are you going to get a pet? Are you going to get a pet? No. I love pets as long as they're yours. I do not want pets for a couple of reasons. First off, if I was going to have a pet, it would be a cat, not a dog. The reason is that you can leave a cat for 2 or 3 days, get him on a gravity feeder,
and they're going to be fine. You know, they go poop in a box. They're not known, I mean, especially like female cats, and if I was going to have an animal, it'd be a female cat. But they're not known for spraying. Male cats will spray, and that's a problem in itself. I remember growing up as a kid, we had a couple of male cats, and they were constantly spraying the walls and crap. So there's not going to be any cats. Dogs, you can't leave. Okay, if you're going to take off, you got to take them with you, or you got to have somebody take care of them. They got to go outside and take a crap, do their business, whatever. And so that's just not my future. Now, like I say, you might love your animals, and that's great. You know, I love your animals too. They're just not in my future. And I've had pets before. I've had pets my whole life, up until about 2006 or 7, something like that. So, and then I got to traveling too much, and it just became a hassle. Somebody was having to come over and take care of my pet. It was a cat, just a female cat. And when she passed away, I just said, that's enough, you know. It was hard when she passed away anyway, so I just decided that I was kind of done with cats and pets in general. And because of the lifestyle I want to lead, you know, I want to be able to just pick up and take off for 2 or 3 days and not have to worry about anything, close the house up, you know, get my kind neighbors on either side of me to check the mail, or if packages come, to pick them up. One fatality from doing the floors, besides my lungs and eyes, because I couldn't find a respirator. You can't buy a respirator. You couldn't even steal one. So I had to do it without a respirator, which didn't make me very happy. Plus, as I mentioned, you know, I had to keep the house closed up to keep the airflow down. And by the time I got through doing an hour's worth of poly in this house, it was bad. My eyes were burning. It was a tough job. It really kicked my ass doing the floors. Everything else, you know, I haven't really felt so tired, so beat up. But man, when I was done with the floors, I really felt beat up. And in fact, I probably slept for the better part of a day and a half when I finished the floors. Probably a combination of being exposed to the odor and the smell of the poly and just working hard. You know, I'll tell you that running that sander was really tough. It was really hard, especially because the floors had a bunch of nastiness in them already. They had been redone before and done improperly. A bigger issue is that if you see right here, these stripes, that's from the floor being refinished before. And that's from the drum basically burning into the wood because it wasn't done properly. So there was a bunch of waves in it. And if you don't hold that sander just right, it'll sit there and it'll bounce. And every time it bounces, it leaves a drum mark. And this whole floor, I mean, all of the floors were just full of these bounce marks where you could see the drum had bounced when somebody had tried to sand it and refinish it. So I managed to grind all those out, and it actually looks pretty good. There's still a couple, actually right there where the camera's sitting, there's a couple. But overall, you know, I think the floor turned out amazing. I'm really, really happy with it. Oh, I was saying, kind of got off track. But because of the fumes from the poly, I think it foobarred my flammable gas sensor on my water heater. I went to take a shower last night, and I didn't have any hot water. Well, I had lukewarm water. And so I got to doing some research, and it looks like it's gone out. That's an easy fix. It's just this little sensor that sits at the bottom of the water heater. Stuff I'm going to finish up today is this house had no smoke detectors. So I picked up some smoke detectors. I'm going to install those. It had no CO, carbon monoxide detectors. I picked up a couple of those. I'm going to be installing those. Probably one in the basement by the heaters, by the furnace and the water heater. And then probably one upstairs here somewhere in a random spot. At some point, as soon as I get back, I'm going to put 2 new lights in the ceiling here. There are no overhead lights in the living room here. There is one switched outlet, and before there was a swag lamp. And I have that swag lamp in the basement, so I might reinstall it, at least temporarily, once I get it cleaned up. But eventually it'll go away, and I'll have a couple of overhead lights in here with some LED fixtures on them, and that'll be nice to have. I need to do laundry desperately. I mean, look, I'm wearing dress socks because I'm totally out of socks. Well, I burned through like 4 pairs when I was doing the floor because, you know, you don't walk on these floors, and I was using clean socks every time I got on them to keep the amount of crud and stuff that I was tracking onto them. So I got to get some laundry done today or tomorrow, maybe today. And then I, of course, have to go produce this video, which I'm going to go do right now because I'm kind of at a point where I'm kind of almost out of work. Certainly not 2 days worth of work left, but it's been a long 38 days, but not really. It is so rewarding to get to where I am right now and be so close to being ready to move in that I feel really good about the project. I feel really good about what I've done here. So I just ran out of battery. I knew I was getting close to the end of that one. Let's see, where was I? I was kind of wrapping things up. So there won't be a video next week. The following week I'll be starting the home renovation series. That'll probably be 2 videos a week. I'm thinking probably Tuesdays and maybe Saturdays or Sundays. And then I plan on doing sort of a live vlog, well, not live, but maybe live. You know, if you'd like to see me do live videos, make a comment below. I'd be happy to do some live videos, especially now that I've got a much more amenable setup to doing live video. Doing them in the RV and traveling, the internet connectivity was pretty flaky. Ultimately, I'm probably going to go ahead. They have fiber here in the neighborhood, and I should be able to get a gigabit Ethernet connection in here, you know, which will make uploading videos lightning fast. I think that's probably it for this week. We'll see you in 2 weeks with a vlog update of moving in, and then following that, the following Tuesday, which will be about 2.5 weeks from now, the video series of the renovation will start. Thanks so much for watching and sticking with me, everybody. I do greatly appreciate it. Until we get together for the next time, peace.